Hey there artists, ready to create something super adorable in Procreate today? In this video I'm going to show you how to apply colour, texture and other techniques to a sketch to produce the cutest seal in Procreate. Perfect for beginners or anyone looking to add a little charm to their illustrations. By the end of this tutorial you'll have your own blushing seal ready to melt hearts. So grab your Apple Pencil and let's dive into some easy tips and tricks that will make your drawing pop in minutes, not hours. Stick around to learn how to bring your seal to life with just a few strokes. In the description below I'll outline what brushes I have used in this tutorial, however please feel free to use what you have. You will also find a free download of the sketch and the colour palette with the colours I have used. I have set my canvas dimensions and colour profile to the following settings. Before we start, open the downloaded sketch in Procreate and import the colour palette. Let's get started. So I already have my sketch in Procreate. So what I'm going to do is select multiply and just take it down to about 50% or so. Create two new layers, group these layers, rename to seal. Close this. I'm just going to pop the sketch on top. Select the bottom layer here. I'm going to use the sleek marker for this job at size 9, and the color that I will be using is this color here, first from the left. Let's create an outline of the seal. And we'll just join it up here as well. Fill it in with colour. Now select the top layer. We'll continue using the sleek marker. This time choose this colour here and just take the size down to 4%. And we're going to create an outline of the collar. Fill it in with colour. Now let's create a new layer on top. We're going to use the grungy marker. Just take it down a tad, and the colour that we'll use is this colour here. We're just going to increase the size a little bit just to fill it in, and I'll just turn the sketch off just to show you the nice kind of textured outline that I got. You know, it just adds a little bit of charm to the drawing. Okay, so let's fill it in. Just choose a size that's comfortable for you to fill this shape in. And you can take it up in size a bit when you're doing the center here. And then maybe take it down around the edges. Now we'll work on the stand. I'm just going to close this group and create two new layers. Group these, and I'll call this stand. And I'm just going to grab this and pop it on top. We're going to select the bottom layer. Let's turn the sketch back on. I'm going to go back to the sleek marker at 9%. And the color that I will be using for this job is that one there. I'm just going to create an outline of the stand. You can momentarily just turn the seal layer off, just so I can see what I'm doing here. And I'll just do this and fill that color in, and then turn the seal layer back on. Next, select this top layer here and the brown color here. We're going to continue using the sleek marker at size 4. Let's add some detail to the stand. So I'm just going to draw these shapes in. What you can do here is draw a line. To get a straight line, as you're drawing it, right at the end, you just hold it there. And then you can change the end point. You can move the end point around. So I might leave it there and do the same here. So just draw a line starting from here. So I draw. And once I get to the end point, I just hold it there and it draws a perfectly straight line for me. Do the same here. So draw the line at the end point, hold, and then select where you would like the line to finish. And again here. I'm just going to quickly turn the seal layer off so I can see what I'm doing. Draw the line here and go back here. I'm just going to draw a straight line here. Using that same trick, hold, and I want it to match up there. Just quickly turn the sketch layer off and fill these shapes in with this color. At this stage you may want to fix anything. I would like this shape to just go down to the bottom here. You can do that. I'm just going to draw another line on here, really, like that, and hold the line at the bottom here, and then I can fill this bit in here. And again, I can just go down in size here. I can fill this in a little bit. So I'll turn the seal group back on. And next I'm just going to create a new layer on top here. The color I'm going to use is this color here. I'm going to continue using the sleek marker at around 15%. And I'm just going to do a band here. But before I do, I'm just going to grab this layer and put it here and create a clipping mask here. Now what the clipping mask essentially does is whatever I draw here will be clipped to this shape on this layer here. So it just basically contains what I will draw here to this shape here. So let's go ahead and do that. And take it down to about 15%, like so. I'm just going to color in here. Let's go ahead now and we'll create a ball. So just select this layer here, create 2 new layers on top, group these, rename ball. Select bottom layer. I'll be using the raw pen for this job at size 15. And the color that I'll be using is the color, that one. Now I'm just going to draw a rough circle shape, like so. Now to turn this into a circle, a perfect circle, you just hold your pencil down and then grab one finger and put it on the screen, and you can change the size, like so. I'll just turn the sketch back on, to see how big our ball is. And we're just going to fill this in with colour. If there are any bits around the edges that you need fixing, you can go and fix those, but mine's looking okay. So I just grab the transform tool. I'll make the ball a little smaller, just to fit it in there, like so. Turn the sketch layer off. So I just wanted to zoom up on the ball a little bit. So it's just got a little bit of a rough edge, just adds a bit of interest to the illustration. I just like with the hat, a little bit of texture here and there. So let's have a look at our illustration. At this stage, I like to call it laying the foundation. It's a straightforward process, but it's not where the magic happens just yet. The real fun begins when we start adding texture, details, and other techniques. That's when it quickly transforms into a polished, professional-looking piece of art. So let's get to it. We're going to create a background shape. So let's just close this, create 2 new layers, group these. Rename this to background. And I'm just going to pop this all the way here underneath all of the groups and layers. Select the bottom layer. I'm going to use the rugged marker for this job at 100%. The color that I'll be using is this lightest color here. I'm just going to turn off the toolbars, make them invisible, and you do that by tapping your 4 fingers on and off the screen, like so. I'm going to add a background shape here. And then, to show the toolbars, tap 4 fingers on the screen. And I'll just fill it in with colour. Now if you do have any bits that haven't been covered here with the fill, you can go in and fill those in, but I find it's not necessary. It kind of adds a little bit here and there, adds to the charm of the drawing. So that's our background shape now. So this is quite a cool technique, because we get this background shape with this really cool edge here. Now we're going to add some texture to these seals. So close this group, open up the seal group, select the seal layer, create a new layer on top. I'm going to make a clippy mask. So once again, the texture that I put down on this layer here will be clipped to the seal shape on the bottom layer here. For this job, I'm going to use the jittery brush at size 10, and I'm going to use this second color from the left. I'm just going to add a bit of texture to the seal here and there. And now I'll just grab this layer and turn this to multiply and just play around with the opacity slider. I might like to leave it at around 55–56%. Now I'm going to add some facial features to the seal. So grab this top layer here, create a new layer on top. For this job, I'm going to use a special brush, the Bumpy Inker, at size 13, and the color will be the third from the left here. I will turn on the sketch to use that as a guide. Just turn the sketch layer off to see what it's looking like. And I just wanted to show you, so this brush is quite a cool brush. I'll just take this down a bit more and just fill the nose in a little bit more here. Yeah, so this brush, it gives quite a nice retro feel to the illustration. Now let's add some detail to the hat. So I'm going to select this layer here, create a new layer on top. I'm going to use the textured pencil for this job at size 9, and the color that I'll be using is this lightest color here. I'm just going to add some lines, vertical lines to the hat. Grab the eraser tool, I'm just going to erase it back a little here. Use a sleek marker. I'll try it at 18% as the eraser, just erase it back a little like so. And here, and here. Let's add a pom-pom to the hat. Create a new layer here. I'll be using the Mighty pencil for this job, size 7. The color that I'll be using is this color here. And I'll just create a little bit of a circle like so to start off with. And now I'm just going to sketch the details in like so. And just twist it around as you go. Here's our pom-pom. Now I'm just going to add some detail to the collar. So I'll go to the collar, select that layer, create a new layer on top, and create a clipping mask. And for this job, I'm going to use the grey lead pencil at size 4. And use this color here, the lightest color here. And I'll just add some vertical stripes to the collar here. Now to add some rosy cheeks. So I'll select this layer here and create a new layer. For this job, I'm going to use the analog shader at size 2, and the color that I will use is this pink here. So I'm just going to go in, and because this is a pressure sensitive brush, you put quite a lot of pressure on as you start in the center, and as you go out you can release the pressure a bit, like so. Now at this stage what I might do is I might just go in to the seal texture here and just erase some of this texture back around the eye. So I'll select the eraser tool so it doesn't look like it's been uniformly erased. I'll use the jittery brush as the eraser, and I'll just erase back some of the texture here around the eye area, not all of it, just so the eye is a bit more prominent. I'm also just going to do something to the flipper here, so I'm going to select the seal layer, and for this job I'm going to use the eraser, but the tool that I'll be using will be the soft pencil at size 2, and make sure you've got it there on the eraser. So it's just going to erase a little bit back here to make the flipper a little bit more prominent, like so. But I'm just erasing back in a kind of sketchy kind of way with that soft pencil. Let's see how that's looking. It's time to add some texture to the ball. So I will select the jittery brush for this job at size 25, 24, that's fine. I'm going to use this color here. So just close this, select the top layer here. I'm going to select clipping mask to contain the texture to this shape on the layer underneath. So all the texture that is placed on this layer, layer 11, will be contained within that circular shape on layer 10. I'm just going to add a bit of texture like so. And now we're going to do something really cool. I'm going to add a bit of texture to this background shape here. And the way that I'm going to do that is like so. So close this, open up the background group, select this top layer, select clipping mask. I'm going to use the dehydrated brush for this job, which is there at 100%. The color that I'll use is this color second from the right. And I'm just going to go around here and there, and it adds just a little bit of this kind of nice texture. We don't want it everywhere, just some interest here and there. You can play around with how much pressure you put on this brush. So the more pressure you put, the more of the texture appears. So let's just go to reduce this in size a little bit here. I'll just move it over, and I'll just turn this to multiply so we can see the texture that we've created here. It's just a little bit too stark, so I'm just going to play around with the opacity slider. Might leave it at around 37, 38%, 39, that's all fine. Yeah, so it's just added some really nice texture to the background here. Now we're almost finished our illustration. Now for the final touch. So we're just going to add some of these small grungy looking stars to the background. So I'm going to select this layer here and create 2 new layers. Group, and rename this stars. Select the bottom layer. Let's use the grungy marker at size 5 for this job. And the color that I'll be using is this color here. So I'm just going to go in and add some stars. Just make sure that it's at size 5. Okay, so the way to create these stars, I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see. It's just to do a vertical stroke, then followed by a horizontal stroke, and then a couple of diagonal strokes like so. And you just repeat this process here and there. And now I'm going to select the top layer and choose this pink color and draw some pink stars. Now the stars have quite a sketchy kind of feel to them, so you don't need to get them perfect. It just adds a bit of retro charm to the illustration. Let's have a look at the final illustration. So what really makes this illustration is all of that beautiful texture that we have in here. So we've got that texture in the ball, on the seal, even the textured line work here, the little imperfections that we have here, the grungy stars, even the texture in the background here adds a really lovely charm to the illustration. So well done, guys. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. give yourself a pat on the back if you've made it to the end. With the right techniques, tools and streamlined process, you can transform your basic color and shapes into adorable and professional looking illustrations, and do it super fast with some of the shortcuts I have taught you. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you feel it has been of some value to you, please like and subscribe. This will help me to create more Procreate tutorials such as this one for you. Make sure to check back in for the next tutorial. We'd love to have you there.